Welcome to another episode of Peers Over Beers, your favorite digital and social evangelist podcast with your industry veteran hosts, Chris Tetzel. This podcast starts now.
Welcome to another Peers Over Beers. I'm Chris Tetzel, and today we have special guest, but she's been on before.
Allison Boudreau. Hey, everyone.
Allison, how are you?
I am doing fantastic. How are you, Chris?
Doing well. Tell me what you do, your title, and all that stuff again.
Yeah,
just for the audience again.
no worries. So I'm Allison Boudreau. I am the Director of Digital Programs, Education, and Community over at Calix. We are a telecom software and hardware provider across the US and globally. And my team really focuses on customer success at scale. So we're really focused on enabling customers, answering customer questions, and really building community amongst our customers in very different ways.
You know, you have a really long title. Mine got long too. My title is like Director of Customer Community and Engagement.
Wonderful.
Yeah, and I was like, yeah, I like that title because before it was Program Manager Community. And so I asked my boss, can we change it? You know, because it doesn't really justify what I do. You know, like a program manager, it just doesn't. Because then they were like, well, in the system it says Program Director. I'm like, yeah, that's just boring.
You know, it's we have a lot of new people starting, and one of my colleagues reached out to me and said, you have a very long title, but it doesn't really tell me what you do at Calix. And I was like, yeah, let's have a conversation about that, because people don't really understand what a digital program is or what a community is until we really talk about it. So I like customer engagement. That's kind of where I'm going in my next promotion for sure, is having customer engagement and education in my title.
No, I like that. I like the engagement piece a lot. And because, you know, to me, it's, yes, I do customer engagement, but I also do employee engagement. I also do partner engagement and potential prospect engagement. It's kind of all across the board. But I digress a little bit. Today during our pre-show, we kind of talked about some virtual events, some on-site events that you are in charge of and that you are helping training the events team and all those kinds of things. And, you know, there's a lot of that going on right now. And I'm interested in, because it's going on with me as well. And so for selfish reasons, you know, you're the expert in these things and been doing it for a while. I would love to kind of get your view of, one is maybe an outline of how you guys are thinking about events virtually, maybe even the on-site stuff from a community education space or digital programs, or I don't know, whatever piece of your title that deals with. But so I just want to hear more, and then I'll ask questions, you know, from there, because this is intriguing to me.
Yeah. So just a little bit of history about my time at Calix. I actually came in as a trade show manager on the marketing team 12 years ago.
Okay.
So I'd come from healthcare before coming into telecom. Events and trade shows was a great place to start because I got to learn about customer problems and I got to learn about the industry very quickly. And, you know, over my time, I worked into marketing campaigns and communications and demand generation and overseeing the full events team until I came into customer success. And when I came over to customer success, I was a team of one doing what I am doing now with a team of 15.
Wow.
Definitely not doing it as well, but just trying to figure out the bones of, you know, we have a great premier customer success team. They're the one-to-one engagement, right, that you think about traditionally. My job and my puzzle to kind of build was success at scale. And so that, it's one to many, 100%. And one of the things that we were tasked with was this idea of what we call circles of success. And so that's, if you think about my title, it's the digital programs piece, virtual engagements and in-person engagements for customers post-sales. So I'm not handling trade shows. I'm not handling our large user group. We have an incredible events team that does that very, very well, but we kind of clip in to pieces of that. So circles of success we were talking about, these are small group discussions. So it really shouldn't be larger than 10 people, because once you get past that, people won't really engage. They'll listen, but they won't chime in as much. And we bring them together to talk about a topic. So for example, marketing campaign best practices. We'll bring together a group of marketers and say, okay, we're not going to talk. We're moderating this discussion, and we want to hear, what is the best campaign that you've run lately and why was it a success? And then they'll all answer. And what's really magical about these kind of sessions is the sharing that happens between the people at the table. You're able to ask those follow-up questions of like, I tried that, but this didn't quite work. And people are chiming in saying, well, have you tried this? Or, and it becomes this great sharing of people who are in the job, doing the work, that have kind of, expertise in a way that we at Calix don't have. Right. And we're just facilitating the discussion. We started, when I joined this team, we had 3 a week. This was pre-pandemic. So in 2019, we ran 3 of these sessions a week, which is different audiences across our business.
And this is the virtual piece, right?
This is all virtual.
Digital.
Yeah, okay, 100%. And we did have some in person, like we would link into kind of industry events and work with the event team to say, hey, if we could sponsor like an hour-long session, we have something really different that's not a PowerPoint presentation, right? Let your event attendees come here and have these conversations, and we'll show you how to do it. And then COVID hit, and we went from 3 sessions a week to 25.
Wow.
Because everything was virtual. And we work with telecom providers who had a huge, it actually gave me, I think about it getting the chills. We facilitated conversations of companies who were trying to figure out how to get Wi-Fi to the kids who now had to do, school virtually, people who were working from home, how to get in and install that internet into somebody's home without, contracting COVID or bringing. So it was a lot of work to kind of ramp from that 3 a week to 25, but the conversations, customers were grateful for us. They were like,
that's awesome.
Hearing, what other, do you put Wi-Fi on a school bus and put it in the school parking lot so all the kids can it was just incredible. They were grateful for us. I was grateful that we could offer that to them. And then we just stayed on that cadence. So we are running between 15 and 25 of these circles events, in addition to other virtual sessions a week.
So that sounds like a lot of activity, and I have some questions because
sure.
I think for me is I kind of think about stuff like this is, how do you track it? How do you, are you creating additional content from that? So are you recording them, then using them, and then writing blogs about it, or, all that kind of stuff that I think, and introducing training into this, how somehow, bringing in, I think there's lots of opportunity. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so that's exactly what we plan. So we do not record the sessions. We want to make sure that people are open, feel like they can, because it's a vulnerable space for people to go, I don't know how to do this.
Yeah.
And so what our team does is we will take notes on the call, right? We do have just like a slide with questions. It's not heavy for us. We don't want people to have to flip through, a whole bunch of slides, but then kind of the key takeaways, we turn those into knowledge base articles on the community, right? So have a question about this, read this article. Here's what other providers are doing. We kind of have those. When we start to see trends, what we do is we take the good questions from circles and we turn them into enablement webinars. So as we're, enabling our customers to use our products, it's like, hey, and by the way, customers usually ask questions about X. Here are some of the things our customers are doing, and that's more of a PowerPoint presentation, but that's a key piece for us to help enable customers at scale.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Gosh, you asked me so much in that first tracking.
Tracking. Yeah. What's kind of the KPIs there, or, that kind of stuff?
Yeah. So for us, and this is the other great thing, our leadership team has said a circles is a success if 2 people are on it, because we're having that at scale conversation.
I went over and beyond. I have 3.
Right? Oh my gosh, amazing, right? We actually cap registration because we don't want them to become
makes sense,
where nobody's talking, right? So So we have, we want people to be engaged. We ask them questions after, was this useful? We track that kind of like NPS score.
Okay, so you put NPS or something out, afterwards, or do you do it during the
afterwards?
Okay.
For sure. And then, from like a really tactical kind of look, the system we use to host the session flows into our database. So we track everything there. It's automated. So saves my team a bit of work on the back end. They're not having to upload lists and download lists. And
yeah, I mean, I don't know what you use, but you could put Zoom, push that into like Marketo or Salesforce or whatever you're doing.
100%. Yeah. And then we can, look at that over. And what's incredible, I always go, is this going to be the quarter that we're going to like not have as many attendees? Is this going to be the quarter that, people are going to say no? And every quarter over quarter, because we add new topics, because we add new products, because new customers are coming in, it's never the same conversation twice. We just keep killing it. I mean, it's awesome. I'm so proud of my team.
Yeah, and tactically, I'm just thinking about some of those tactics. Is so, and I'm proud of you and your team as well. It sounds like you're doing. I mean, I love it. So you said you come out with the PowerPoint, but it's just a few slides that just kind of probably helps kind of guide the conversation. Is my assumption.
That's right. We talk rules of engagement.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
we're going to call on you.
Yeah. We're good. Yeah. And I like that.
Right.
And there's 5-10 people is kind of the. 20?
Yeah, right around. Yeah, under, I always say between 5 and 10.
Okay.
It's kind of your golden. Once you get past that, then you start to have the 1 to 2 people kind of conversing, and then the others are, which is fine. It's great if they want to come and listen, if they don't know about the topic and they want to learn. Yeah. That's another great benefit. But if you start getting past that 10 people, you start to have those star players, right? And this is more group.
Yeah, I like it. And you just pick a topic and then just go after the topic.
That's right.
Got it.
Yeah.
And is it just a community manager running that, or somebody like that, or?
It's actually our customer success managers. They're our moderators. So my team can't do what we do without that team.
Got it.
They're creating content for the community. They're moderating sessions for us. They're putting it when it's enablement webinars, or we have some like office hours, they're putting the messaging together. We are really integrated, like at the hip with our customer success management team. And awesome. it's I'm so thankful for them as well every day.
Okay, well that's I love that, and I think that is super important, and that's extremely helpful to me. It's something that I might think about how to partner with the success team, because they should own some of this stuff, and I think they probably would want to do some of this. I think all you need is 1 or 2 to kind of start it, and then you just go. I mean, obviously from here on up, it's probably got to be bought in to some degree, but
test it, give it a whirl for a quarter, say, hey, I want, it's going to take you a while to kind of get, for us, in our first kind of learnings, customers would show up and go, okay, talk to me, right? Present to me. Yeah. They thought it was more of a webinar.
Yeah.
And so that's where we kind of, came up with this, like, all right, we're going to talk about the rules of engagement on this session. Everybody here is going to speak. And if you don't start speaking, we're going to call on you. So, and then also what we find really is helpful, Chris, is we start with like an icebreaker question for everybody to kind of answer, just to get that, I'm Allison, I'm from here. These are my top concerns. We ask like fun questions, what's your favorite Halloween candy? Just to kind of.
Candy corn.
Is it candy corn?
Well, I used to like it a lot, but it's been a while.
You. Come Halloween, you get a big package of candy corn from me.
I'll eat it.
All right. But, and it doesn't have to be like, part of our thing is let's have some fun and let's not be so serious. So, let's learn a little bit about the people, because then again, that helps to build your customer community as well when they start seeing each other on these sessions. And
it's pretty awesome. Do you put like sorry for all these tactical questions,
but it's okay.
To me, it's good. Do you put like a calendar thing on the community to where, hey, this session, boom, 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 so-and-so is going to be the moderator, I don't know, whatever it is.
Yeah, so we do have a full calendar of events, and we have a whole journey around that as well, right? So we send out emails at the beginning of, kind of a few weeks, but we go monthly with our sessions. So it's like, hey, this is the schedule. Don't forget sessions fill up. So, get registered. And then we put it on the community as well. They can link in. Our customer success team talks about it on all their customer calls. Like, have you been on a circles lately, or have you been to a virtual engagement? All of our release kind of readiness materials talks about, we release this new feature. Here are the circles that support it.
Here are the circles. Got it.
I mean, we are.
It's like a machine. You've got to kind of.
We're all interwoven, right? Exactly. And you kind of asked me too, from a circles, what other things do we talk about or kind of link them to? We link them into our education courses as well.
Yeah,
Calix University. Yeah. So you want to learn more about building a marketing campaign? Do we have a course for you? Right.
Yeah.
And we can link them right in. So it's taken 3 years for us, and we're still always, finding kind of how we can improve, but it's fun to see the growth when I pull together, my charts. I'm like, 3 a week. And then you see the big spike and it's like, oh, wow. And we haven't slowed down since then.
Yeah. I mean, I think you continue to do what works. I mean, maybe, 8 months from now, that doesn't work as well, and you do something a little bit different,
Yeah.
But I feel like things like that will continue to work. And I love how you're not just getting the customer success managers engaged and involved just from the beginning. And, it's probably a learning for them as well. And they learn from their customers and they get to know their customers better, and they can probably start connecting them. And then when renewal time comes, they have that relationship. It probably helps with renewals and upsells, cross sells, and gets them deeper into the accounts and all those kind of beautiful, wonderful things.
It is.
Yeah. And it helps training in a lot of different ways through, people are taking the courses because they're hearing about it more, they're exposed to it more, and they're like, oh, I want to learn about that more. I assume that, registrations are either consistent or continue to go up because of the education and working together. I love it. It seems really hard to do, from my standpoint, but it does seem like the very logical thing to do as well. I love it.
And I think, for you, I mean, again, where's your focus?
Yep.
Where's your priority, right? And where's your bandwidth? I think try a couple a month and then go from there. I mean, I was a team of 1 supporting 2 and then 3 CSMs. That was a lot of what I did, was logistically setting up things and, getting on and helping them moderate. We're trying to figure it out. It took us a long time to become this machine of, okay, that's the schedule. We know what to expect.
But you're focused, and you continue to do it for years.
That's right.
And it just grew and grew and grew, and so love it. It shows consistency does pay off.
It does. My brushing my teeth every day definitely paid off.
I think that's an important part to do at least 2 or 3 times a day. So, what about when you think of not just virtual, but on-site events and things like that? How does community and digital and education play in that?
Yeah, I mean, so on-site, again, I think my knowledge of the industry events has lent well to kind of where the customers want to be and where we can fit in. We're in the throes of planning our big customer event in the fall. And again, it's, giving customers the right, what they ask for. So we have, circle sessions in person for 2 afternoons. Registration always fills up. We're always on a wait list, and we just try. It's like, how many more bodies can we fit in this room? Wow. I think I gave the event team a stat pre-pandemic. The circles we had, it took 80 Calix employees to help us over, the course of the event, to help us run these sessions. That is a huge lift.
Wow. The circle sessions?
Just because we didn't have the same people in the room, different people moderated at different times. We had the events team helping us with registration. We had, other teams, sales teams pushing people in. I mean, it takes an army and cross-functional help, which I think, but then, how do we tie that in? It's our Calix Champions program, which is our advocacy program of our amazing customers. That's how we start to kind of weave them into an event. So if you're a champion, are you going to be a champion of education? go to our education sessions? Do you want to champion a circles? Do all of it, right? Like, this is how champions do connections, I think, is kind of one of our big messages. And then just making sure that we always kind of have that lens for them, not for us. I could tell you where I would want to be, but let's figure out what you're interested in and work with the marketing team on the agenda and say, oh, you're a marketer? We have these amazing things for you. And we push from sales, marketing, customer success, to give them the best event experience they can, right? What do you want to learn about and how can we help you?
I love that. That's really cool. It's like a side event, on the main event. You know what I mean? And so
the underground, right, is like what we always talk about, like, because it's circles after dark. We're not sure, but it's it became, and last year when we were in person at our big event, it became like this, where'd you get that? Were you in a circles? Oh, you're a champion too. And it kind of became this groundswell of like, oh, I've seen you online and now I'm meeting you in person. And so our goal leading into the event this year is, okay, you all have seen each other online. Come in person and meet each other in person. That's right.
And when is your big event?
October 15th this year, 15th through the 17th.
So a couple days. 3 days.
Yeah. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Yeah.
Saturday, like Saturday?
Saturdays like golf and other customer events. And then Sunday we have training and education. So we'll have, my education team will be on site teaching, enabling. And then
people come on Saturday and Sundays?
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay.
Every year. Yeah. It's our customers are just incredible. They are incredible people who just
kind of a weird time to do it, but
like historically it made sense. We were teamed with like another industry event years ago that went Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So we would have people stay Saturday, Sunday, and then we would start Monday, Tuesday, kind of give them that break over the weekend where they could recharge and then head into our event. Yeah.
Interesting. Wow. But this is intriguing, Allison. Like there's so much to do. Like for us, we don't even have, sorry for all the questions, but I'm very intrigued.
You're building it, man. It's awesome.
Yeah, I'm trying, and I think there's a huge appetite for it. For now, I think most industries are probably looking at, the times with Russia and the stock market and all these kind of inflation, a lot of crazy stuff's going on right now. And so, certain things are being put on hold, right, for us and probably for most businesses if they're smart. Because I think you're going to start seeing, I don't know if it's massive layoffs, but you're going to start seeing that, here in 5 to 6 months, which you've already starting to see sort of at that, at some of these smaller technology companies. But I love what you guys are doing. And you have one big event a year, is that right?
I mean, our connections event is big, and then but we do spring events, which is our connections at local. That's more, we take connections to cities. So people who can travel, maybe might not be able to travel to our big event, can come out to the city events. I think we're doing 30 of those right now across.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's our events team, like I said, they are, I think, 180 events or so a year. They're amazing. They are fantastic at what they do. And so
my CEO told me the other day, and I don't think I told you this, but I've said it on a Peers Over Beers, but this is so intriguing that it's just right for this to say it again. Mm-hmm. He goes, Chris, I believe that community, which is a lot of pressure. So I'll back up. I had this show on it's Ask Me Anything with our CTO and founder. It's always kind of popular, people like to ask him questions and things like that. And I think we had 100 and something people come, but at that particular thing, we have a lot of new employees. 40% of our employees are only 6 months old, right?
Okay. So oh wow, yeah, massive growth.
It's massive growth, and so they're highly interested in listening to our CTO and founder, right? But customers and partners are too. So we had maybe 50 or so customers and partners on there, and then the rest were employees, which was a lot. I agree. Yeah. But he asked me.
That's great.
Oh yeah. No, I see it as a great thing. But he sees it. I said, "Oh, it was pretty good." We had, and I gave him the numbers. And he goes, "Well, I see it a little different." And he said, "I see community as bringing in hundreds of events a year, thousands of customers and partners and non-employees to these events every year. He goes, community needs to be a marketing machine, and I was like, okay, and I had a call with him, I was like, I don't know exactly how to do that. That's what I told him. I go, well, so I'm not sure how to do that. He goes, well, that's the fun in not knowing, is you get to go figure it out.
Yeah. Be brave enough to suck at something new is like something I tell my team all the time. Like, we're not going to get it right out of the gate.
Right.
Believe me, over the past 3 years, there have been some major oopsies, right? Where we just go, okay, we won't do that again.
Yeah, I think he doesn't care about that, right? He's just thinking, what I think he's probably heard is user groups and things like that about how communities have really brought in a lot of different people within, coming together, connecting, doing all the things that you just said, which, I really love digitally what you guys are doing, bringing people in and just having discussions, and you're doing like, I don't know, would you say 20 of these or more or whatever a week? It's ridiculous. Like, it's awesome. And so that brings in, if you're only having 5 or 10 people, if you did it 10 times, would you say 20 or 30, whatever, a week? That's crazy.
We're talking 200 customers a week, 800 customers a month, roughly.
And 800
sometimes it's up, sometimes it's down, but
you're going to hit your 1,000 within 2 months.
Yeah, for sure. But also, with his statement, what is his goal? Because for me, and I just got done talking about this to a larger group here, community for me is more than it, like he said, more than just a platform, right? It becomes the relationships that you have with your customers. And again, it takes, like, Chris, I mean, how many times have I said it takes an army of people at Calix to help enable my team to do what we want to do. And that, like you said, if he supports that, then perfect. Like, bring in the armies, and start small.
I think he supports that in a way, but it's also up to me to figure out how to go do it. Right. And he will support me in kind of saying, this is what I'm thinking, and I expect others to think that way too. Right. And so, but then it's up to me to kind of build those relationships internally to really communicate the way we should go about it, the way we should. And I am doing that today. And I'll be honest, like, it's a struggle, I'll give you an example is, so I'm bringing this kind of, I like the things that you're doing because it's a little different in thinking, but I'm trying to bring together this, it's a buzzword in the community space, but I'm using it, is community-led growth. And I think that's important. And the way I'm trying to bring that in is thinking about, yes, we have this technical community today, which brings in our customers, and we have some community shows that go deep into the product and help them understand the product better. I mean, all the things that you do from enablement and things like that. And so we're doing a lot of good stuff with Reltio. Today, I believe that Reltio, or the master data management space, has kind of an identity problem, and and that it's really hard, and it's valuable if you can do it, but it's also not the first thing on the minds of the business leaders, is master data management. So I believe that within the data space, in addition to this technical community, there's a huge opportunity for us to go after. And when I say that is it's bringing kind of those thought leaders together, whether it's CDO, chief data officers, CTOs, VP of enterprise architecture, or VP of data governance, those kind of people, in a sense, together. That's one. But two is having them and being kind of the broker between the thought leadership, bring them in, have a podcast, creating great, video podcasts, even thought leadership papers around these different kind of content pieces and things like that, pushing them out on the behalf of that person, and it could be influencers within the space, right? And so trying to create that. So that's in a nutshell what I'm trying to do, and because we're not doing that today, we're not, not really. We're just trying to think about Reltio, master data management, and that works to those people that know what master data management is, you know what I mean? But they don't really. Point is, my CMO is on board to some degree, right? Like, and he's like, all right, great. I'm going to give you the audience. And so, he's giving me the audience to kind of present this to our leader of PMM, the leader of, our person that's really focused in on thought leadership with our CTO and things like that, but it's hard because then, one leader would be like, of digital and she, she's like, well, that's really hard because we get to put it in this campaign and that campaign and do this. And it's like, well, we can start small. We don't have to boil the ocean, but it's a lot of opinions and a lot of thoughts, and it's hard. It is hard to just bring it around because you have to make it relevant to them. And I'm thinking to myself, I still don't have everybody on board, right? Because they still don't get it, and maybe I've got to figure out ways that it's going to help them do better. You know what I mean? So kind of get off a little bit, but I think it does have stuff to do with events. I think it has something to do with the content and getting the awareness of some of this out there. And I think the way to do it, the best ways to do it are, tactically, when you think of quick hit videos, quick hit audio video type stuff. Think of blogs on behalf of those people and things like that, using that community to really drive the content, and talking about how they've solved problems, or talking about how they haven't solved the problem, but they've tried these different things, around these problems that they tried to solve. I think, to me, it's a huge opportunity, and so.
It is. And, finding it's those adjunct audiences that are close enough to it, but might look at it with, that's slightly different, so you have kind of your core, right? Mm-hmm. And then it's, okay, who kind of sits in the office next to that core group of people that might know what they're, you don't want to like jump from super technical to not. And that's kind of where we started as well. We had kind of two different, groups of people we were talking to. They will never talk to each other. I mean, they do, but like, it wouldn't make sense for us to blend. So we just had to have that kind of goal clear of this is what these people want to talk about. And that's what we're here to do. It's not talk about what we want to talk about. It's what they want to talk about. Right. And so I think, especially around thought leadership,
I like that.
It's what do they want to talk about? And then you can weave in kind of the benefits of your company. But it's not all, we don't talk about, on Circles, it's not about our products.
Yeah,
so
I agree with that.
If you're not a customer, so for at like industry events, if you're not a customer of ours and you want to come attend a Circle, you'll fit right in.
Yeah.
Come on in. And it's just another benefit that we give to our customers is that we enable these conversations to happen. And I think that's what they start to see us as, it's not about us selling. It's about helping them do their job better.
It's industry-led focused, right? Like rather than, product-led. And I think that's, to me, is what I'm trying to get at and trying to communicate. But it's not easy, Allison, because
you know what? It's a new model. It's a new business model, right? You talk about like marketing. I'm very lucky. We have, again, just an incredible marketing team here who understands they don't see us as a marketing. They know that our function is very different from a traditional marketing function, but they understand what we're doing. But that's, I think at first it was like, well, how are you going to track leads from this? Or how are you going to, and we're not. This isn't a lead generating activity. This is, customer enablement. And I think that clear delineation as well really helps kind of set the, there's Calix.com and then there's my Calix, which is for Calix customers only. There's a very clear delineation between what my team handles online and what the marketing team handles online, but we absolutely have to be in, lockstep.
Working together.
Yeah. But those kind of, I hate swim lanes, but swim lanes really help them to I know what they do and I respect and, understand how hard it is. They know what we do. And so I think, but it took a while. It's because it's out community, customer success. It's new. Relatively new to the business world, right? So you I think you're doing all the right things and having the right conversations. You just might have to kind of tell them 7 times and show them, that's, I felt like, I kind of went on like the tour of like, I'm going to say the same presentation about 10 times to different people.
Yeah.
So that they, because it felt very office space. Like, what would you say you do here? And it's like,
Yeah.
well, let me tell you.
It's hard. And I love to tell my struggles because then you always give me really good advice like you just did. So I appreciate that
Yeah.
because I own two pieces right now is the technical community and and our Reltio Executive Council, which is just made up of executives. And so it's completely different.
Yeah.
And agendas are different. Like this is way higher touch, and those kinds of things. And then me also trying to go into this thought leadership community led kind of thing. It feels a little different but it's bringing, in a sense, some of these executives on the executive council to help provide some of that thought leadership, but also bringing in influencers. And it seems bigger and it's hard to manage because it's just me right now. So I've got to figure out, ways to kind of think about that.
I have a great exercise for you. I just had my champion advocacy manager do this.
Okay.
I had him put together a Venn diagram because we also have very disparate audiences that sometimes we're like, how does this make sense together? Right? There has to be a connection, but we're not sure what. And so he did like a circle of, our technical champions over here. I'm going to use your kind of audiences. And then we have a circle of like our executive, audience over here. And then there's like that third of like thought leadership. Is there anybody in any of those circles that might be in the middle? And
absolutely.
Then you start there. And it's like either have them speak on a panel about a topic that they might have in common, or you try to get those folks on a circles, because then you start to understand maybe what the tying between the three groups is.
Yeah.
That was I geek out over that because that was like super fun for us to like not realize, oh gosh, these core 10 people have influence over the three kind of circles we're trying to influence.
Yeah.
Right. Let's introduce them and see what they can tell us about their job and, how their struggles might be the same. Just as sorry, Venn diagramming, man. Like put me in a workshop.
I love it. This is great. Like, I learned so much from you the last couple of times, and anytime I talk to you, it's just eye opening to me and extremely helpful. Because you give me some real juicy things I can go after, right?
Yeah.
And then some of the things that you're doing, you've already done it, or the things I'm thinking about doing, you've already done it, and I love it. Anything else? Because this has been great.
Yeah, I hate to leave you with like another like piece, but I do want you to pause and like look back over what you have accomplished, because I don't do that enough. Until I like put charts together for, the executive team. And I'm like, wow. Whew. But you, Chris, over the time I've known you, have done incredible things with the team. I mean, the content you produce, the blogs you produce, what you're putting together is, I'm like, how is he doing all this with the team he has? So just recognize that, like, you're doing the right things, I think. And it's inspiring to me because you're awesome. So.
Well, thank you. That's really great to hear, and I appreciate that. But I also think some of the things that you've done to scale your team are things that I haven't done today yet, right? And so we can learn from each other because there's only so much one person can do. Even one of my bosses said, "Chris, you're doing great, and I love the scrappiness, but you can't continue to do this forever." And grow and that kind of stuff. And so
add some people. Give me some head count.
Yeah, but it's not as easy to say that, right? Because what happens is that, this thing happens, like with Russia, and then, all this other stuff. And so they're like, oh, whoa, let's not do any ads. And so then they're very strategic in who they go after and they don't, and that kind of stuff, right? Mm-hmm. Like just when I thought I was gonna get somebody, I'm not. But, you just have to figure out, okay, well, this year, what can I do, and how can I be as or more successful than I was, and I believe that, you again have done an extremely good job, and you've spent many years doing it, but you've done very well, and you've got a whole team of like 15 people or more, and so, and it's only going to get better for you because the way you've done things, the way you've kind of built your teams and your company is just phenomenal. So, kudos to you as well. But well, Allison, it's been great.
Yeah. Thanks,
We've
Chris.
actually had most of that time. I think we have just a few minutes, but thank you for coming over on Peers Over Beers again. I really do appreciate it.
Me too, man. This was awesome. Love chatting with you.
Well, I'll make sure to, after this, is schedule another one for us.
Hey, we still have a whole arm of education to talk about.
We do. And
Yeah.
I want to, something that I told my education guy, and maybe you can help influence him and we'll get him on Peers Over Beers, is have the three of us just sit down and talk about the education part. And then you can bring in a community piece because, he wants to work with community. But right now he's overloaded, right, on all this other shit that he's working on. And so, it's like, well, how does he start thinking about that, with the team? Because, he has a bigger team than I do of 4 or 5 people. I have me. And so how do we kind of think about that and how do we work together and start? Where's the, how do you start on the journey? Because we talk about it because he's a very cool guy and he wants to do the right things, but with time and stuff like that, but we can't let that be an excuse, right?
Yeah.
So, so it might be beneficial maybe for the next one is to have him on and just have a discussion around it, So
that would be a blast. I'd love that.
yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
All right, Allison, thanks so much for coming on another Peers Over Beers. I'm Chris Detzel and
Allison Boudreau.
thanks again, Allison.
Thanks.